Hi. Thank you. Thank you. Well, it's fantastic to be here in Vilnius again. Isn't it amazing to breathe the same air, There's no other way to build a business. It is almost impossible to land a new contract with someone you've never met. And if you're in Russia, you have to drink the vodka as well. So, okay, good morning. I want to take us on a journey, taking on some of the themes that Martin, my good friend, gave us earlier. I've learned 3 things during COVID. They were all true before COVID. They are all true now. Number 1, don't believe market research. Okay? Why? Because when you ask people their views of the future, they are not futurists, okay? I am a futurist. My job is to predict the future. I warned about COVID. You'll find that as a risk listed on a book I wrote in 2019. Number 1 wildcard risk, viral pandemic, okay? That's my job. I work with companies all over the world to see beyond today. But the people you're asking on market research don't see that, okay? So you ask someone today, would you be interested in going on a foreign holiday to Spain? And they say, no. And then the government relaxes the regulations. 20 seconds later, they have booked the flight. Okay. Number 2 we've learned is this. Our world is tired of marketing. Sorry to say, okay. We are looking for information and revelation. Number 3, I learned this because my work was looking after people dying of cancer at home as a physician. That was my first job when I was 30 years old. I learned that life is short. COVID has taught us life is short. Life is too short, my friends, to spend a single day selling rubbish. Put up your hands if you believe me. Come on, folks. Life is too short to sell things that don't work. Put up your hands if you think that's true. Come on, clap if you agree with me. Life is too short to sell rubbish. Put your hands up. Okay. Life is too short today to sell things you don't believe in. Put up your hands if you think that's true. Okay, I tell you this, the most powerful way to sell is to make sure you really believe in what you're selling, because there's no other way to do it. Okay, we've heard from Martin about how easy it is to miss the customer. Let me give you some quick examples of blindness. Okay, so I went to a restaurant with my wife in Singapore. The menu was so small that even with my glasses, I couldn't read it. So the waiter had to bring a torch to read the menu. Put up your hands if you've had difficulty reading a menu sometimes in the dark without glasses on. Crazy. The menu is the primary marketing document, but cannot be read by the customers. Unbelievable. It just needs a bit larger type. Here is another example. Okay, so you go to a fantastic restaurant, you're having this amazing meal, wonderful food, drink, but you can't catch the waiter's attention. Put up your hands if you have had this problem. Why is it that waiters spend most of their time looking for insects on the floor? Why is it when it takes only 5 seconds to read the room, and every time you nod, you make money? Bill, sweet, coffee, wine. Most of the profit of a restaurant comes from the last bottle of wine, the coffee, and the sweet. How long does it take to teach a waiter to look around the tables as you go to the kitchen? It takes 20 seconds. How long for the waiter to learn that every time you nod and smile, you make money? It takes 1 hour for the waiter to double the tips he gets. How long for that restaurant that has been making a huge loss to go into profit? 1 week. From something that is so easy that any one of you could tell them how to do it better. How could they be so blind? Here is another example. I travel a lot in hotels. Night before last, I was in London. I got up in the morning, I had a shower, and a terrible thing happened. By accident, I had a shower with hair conditioner. Put up your hands if you've had that problem. Okay, come on, I know you have. I had 800 CEOs of hotels from the Starwood chain recently in my audience, just like this. I asked them all, I said, put up your hands if in your own hotel, by accident, you picked up the hair conditioner bottle in the shower and had an embarrassing experience. Okay, you've had it, you're laughing away, okay. 40% of them put up their hands. How can this be? I'll tell you why. I need glasses in the shower because I need reading glasses to read. But the bottle has tiny, tiny print. It cannot be read. So, listen, it doesn't matter whether it's the size of the print in the menu. It doesn't matter whether it's teaching the waiter to use their eyes. It doesn't matter whether it's putting proper print on the bottle. I'm saying it is easy to think that we know our customer, but we don't. And the other thing is this: tiny things create magic. It costs nothing just to print a larger label on the bottle, to teach the waiter to use their eyes. Martin was talking about empathy. Yes, of course, the future is about emotion. And COVID has made us all very emotional. And we've seen new viruses around every 12 months. We've seen SARS and bird flu, swine flu, MERS. You know, I did not need to be a prophet to predict COVID. You see, again, we're blind. These things are in front of our eyes. If we just look, and we're involved, of course, in this global war. But I have not seen any new trends in COVID. Nothing that I haven't described for the last 20 years. What has happened is things have happened more quickly. All kinds of things have changed in terms of speed, but human nature is the same. Your customers are basically still human beings. And the need to meet is still the same, as I say. If we want to grow the business, we have to meet. And by the way, I'll just tell you as a physician, 3 billion people in the world have no antibodies yet to COVID. They have not seen a vaccine yet. Every time 100 million get infected, that's another 3 variants. We do not know how long the vaccine protects people from today's variants. So what I'm saying is this: take the opportunities now. If you are allowed in Lithuania, here in Vilnius, to meet your VIP clients, you better organize your sales conference today. Have it now. Have it in October. Have it in November. Do not wait until January, February, March. Take the day now. Here is the really important thing. COVID has changed the mood. In my country, 70% of people want to make a positive change. 40% want to change their jobs. Why? Because COVID has accelerated change for them. They've said, I thought I might change my job in 5 years, now I want to change it now. Things like the environment have become more important across the whole world, whether it's plastics or global warming. In fact, here is a survey of 10,000 16 to 25-year-olds in 10 nations in Europe and other parts of the world. Around 6 out of 10 say humanity is doomed. 6 out of 10 say government has let them down. 6 out of 10 say they are worried about the climate and the future. My friends, the days of shouting about products is over. We are looking for information and revelation about things that will help us, about things you believe in, about things you would sell to your own family. You phone up your mother and you say, this is the most amazing thing. I've just joined this new company. It's the most exciting thing. You have to get it. It's a fantastic price. It's made so well. It will change your whole life. I tell you, if it isn't worth selling to your mother, it's not worth selling to anybody else's. So what it means is there's a big thinking going on about the future. And that's linked to trust. Actually, as a physician and a futurist, I have spent a lot of time on video calls persuading leaders that the vaccinations are safe in many different countries. I was on a call in New Zealand just the other day, where there's a lot of mistrust. People don't trust the Prime Minister. They don't trust the Minister of Health. They think there's things in the vaccine from Bill Gates going to control their brains. When we have a loss of trust, there's an issue. But it's not just them. It's also marketing, you see, and selling. Because actually, let me show you this. Suppose you were booked into a hotel in London next week, and you type the name of the hotel into TripAdvisor, and you see the first review is fantastic. It's the most beautiful hotel, delightful, perfect. The second review is quite worrying. Terrible rats in our bedroom, noisy, very bad, food poisoning, I nearly died. Now, put up your hands if you go straight to the second of those. Put up your hands if you go straight to the good review. Put up your hands if you know neither of them are true, and you instead went to the official website of the company. Okay, that's right. Who wrote the first one? Of course, the client. It's very difficult to get a 5-star review in a hotel. And the second one, of course, was written by a competitor. You knew that. But because you are selling experts, but I can tell you from a global survey that out of 100,000 executives, 99,999, when they're given the official website on this side, which is your written copy, or the social media nice review, or the social media nasty review, well, it's about 85% go straight for the nasty review, even though they then tell me they know it was probably written by a competitor. Even though they know it wasn't true. Martin talked about how irrational we are. It is absolutely correct when it comes to social media, unfortunately, and trust. But the challenge is that in the future, you're already seeing this. You put up, say, a marketing campaign on Google, it gets ranked. So every proposition you put up gets scored by social media. Every campaign is scored by social media in real time, according to what people think about it. It's a challenge. And trust, you even have to trust that someone's not inside your phone or a foreign government. This issue of trust is fundamental to the future of selling, the future of marketing, and linked also to speed. And I come back to life's too short. Actually, life's too short to waste a single second doing things you don't believe in. Up to 70% of sales of convenience food stores in Europe are from people who walk 800 meters. Why? Life's too short to walk 900 meters to go shopping. Actually, if you look at a website, you see, I work for Google. I work for all the different biggest companies, 400 of the largest companies. One of them's Google. So Google is watching you even this morning, every decision you make online. So you type something into Google. I don't know, perhaps you type in Britney Spears' birth date for some strange reason, and you want to know how old she is. You type in Britney Spears. How many seconds will the average person in Vilnius wait before they press the back button on a slow web page? Do you know? Okay, put up your hands if you have pressed the back button in less than 5 seconds if it just doesn't load. I'll tell you this, 70% of the people in Vilnius will press the back button in 5. If you look at those 25 years old, it's 70% are lost in 3 seconds. Think about it. If you're reaching a 25-year-old consumer, you have 3 seconds. 1 second is, gosh, this website's slow. 2, I don't know what will you stop watching YouTube upstairs, please? 3, you've lost the will to live and terminated the whole business relationship. 3 seconds to go from irritated to lost the business relationship. 5 seconds and 70 to 80% of the business is lost from an online channel. It's a 5-second test. 5 seconds for just about everything. The trouble is, we spend our time looking at other things which we think are very clever, like we experiment with changing the color on a web page, or the typeface, or the slogans, and all of these things matter, of course. And it's true also that 18% of those kinds of links don't go through anywhere that's appropriate. It's actually quite irritating. And it's also true that click-throughs on mobile devices are not what you want anyway. What we really want is the personal relationship. What we actually want is to engage the individual. The issue is, though, what happens when a human being is trying to contact you about a sales inquiry. It happened to me the other day. You know, I'm on the website. I have finally found the phone number. I survived the 5-second test. I'm now phoning, and it says, press 1 for accounts, press 2 for customer services. Put your hands up if you want to kill the person who put in such a system. You want to put them in prison and throw away the key, right? Why? Because you have told me that 5 seconds is like a million years. After 3 seconds, some of you want to terminate a business relationship, and they're keeping you. Your call is very important to us. Please hold. What? And they say, my favorite message is, our helpline, our call center is busier than usual. What? It's always like that. Every time I phone the bank, it says, our call center is busier than usual. At 4 in the morning, it says, our call center is busier. It's just the standard message. Crazy. See, these are easy ways to lose the empathy that Martin was talking about. But these things are so easy to sort out. For example, I never use, Martin doesn't use a mobile phone. I always do. It's the only phone I have. So actually, when I phone the bank, they know who I am. Oh, it's Patrick. And they know why I'm phoning. Why? Because 3.5 seconds ago, they sent an email to my account. It must be because of that, right? So AI, you do not need an artificial intelligence robot to do this. You just say, if a phone call comes from a customer like Patrick, within 3 seconds of an email, please forward it to the department that sent the email in the first place, right? It's simple stuff. So tiny things can make a huge difference. And, you know, again, clickbait, this is a huge problem in Europe at the moment. I would say let's stop. This isn't stuff I believe in. It's not stuff you believe in. It creates a challenge for us. I thought Martin would talk some more about neuromarketing, because actually that's an area which he's done a lot of work on, and he and I have talked about this a lot. Neuromarketing is really, really interesting to me as a physician. It's when we put a cap on someone's head to listen to their brain, and we show them stuff. And what we have learned, for example, is that you get higher sales if the baby is looking at the nappies than if they doesn't. If the baby is just looking at the camera, you get 30% click-through. It comes up to maybe 45% if the baby is looking at the nappies. A little thing. How would you know this? You just have to test it. Here is another example. A Frito-Lay found that if you make the packets shiny, the plastic is shiny, then they are less attractive. I wouldn't have guessed this. Now, that's the kind of market research that does work, because you're testing something about the wiring of the brain rather than just an opinion about the future. Now, 77% of global customers want personal ads. Why? Because they are sick of being marketed at. They're looking for information and revelation. Information for them, revelation for me. And but at the same time, 64% of them are turning off location data on their phones. Let me ask, put your hands up if you have turned off location data on your phone. Have a look around phone. That's at least 50% of you have turned off location data, even though most of you would actually prefer to have relevant marketing. So you can see the issue. Why are we in trouble here? Because of the word trust. It's the same issue. Trust is very important. Actually, it's the reason why in the UK, online food sales are 10 times the level of Germany. Why? The people in Germany have as many smartphones. They do as many online searches. They have just as much money. The reason is trust. That people in Germany are less comfortable with putting their credit card information in. Trust, it's absolutely fundamental. If we're looking at online retail sales, of course, it's huge, it's growing, and at the same time, this is a spectrum of your online spending. You can see the internet spending is in the yellow, and you can see it has more than doubled from 2012 through, it's more than doubled actually from 2012 through to 2020, and will continue to grow. It's got a long way to grow. If you look at the same statistic in the US or Sweden or Switzerland, you can see how much of the conversation about brands is now happening online. At the same time, we're seeing a lot of investment in other tools like robots and the rest for chat. But I think the location, knowing where your client is at the moment is the most important thing. If I'm starting any conversation with a client on the phone, the first thing I ask them is, "Hi, how are you? And where are you today?" Especially at the moment, like, are they at home? Are they collecting the children from school? Are they in the middle of a video call at work? Are they in a taxi? What is their world today? Because if I know where they are, I already know probably 90% of how they're feeling. I phoned a colleague. I said, "Where are you today?" He said, "I'm in Tesco. I'm in the shopping. I'm doing shopping." Actually, and my second question was, he's a guy. He's a single parent, and he has the children every other week. So my second question was, "Are the children with you in the shop?" He said, "No." Sigh of relief. So now I have a fantastic conversation with him because he's bored, he's shopping, and I'm very happy to talk to me for 20 minutes. Location-based data is absolutely vital. And when you automate that, when we know where someone is, it means that we can advertise them an umbrella on a wet day because we know they are outside. And we can tell them where to buy one from a local store. It means that we can time campaigns very precisely. Here is a wonderful example of this. Special offer, personalized to people who had downloaded the app for Whopper in the US. And the Whopper app would tell where they are. And if they were within 200 meters of McDonald's, they got straight away an ad saying, "Here you are. Here is a free hamburger, basically for 1 cent, if you come in the next 5 minutes." Absolutely huge campaign. As we drove here, I passed 2 or 3 identical shopping centers, almost identical. Vast chains, similar price, similar quality, and around, I think I showed you on this previous slide, 70% of retail in Europe is now only 8 companies. So what does that mean? It means that actually we're having to find ways to make the conversation different. Because if we don't, Amazon just wins. Well, Tesco is a food store in Europe, and they experimented. They sent SMS messages to 25 to 34-year-old women in walking distance of a store, offering a £5, €6 discount. 40,000 more of them walked into the store in 1 week. Absolutely amazing. Actually, you can set up the piece of software. You can do it in real time, instantly. You can say, "I want to test, is maybe €5 not enough? We try €6. And we try a different age group. We say, a happy birthday to you," because we can see when some people's birthdays are from the data we have, or whatever it is. Or it's a rainy day. It's time for you to enjoy yourself. So we're going to give you a free bar of chocolate if you come into the store. Now, it's lots and lots of things you can do. Very creative, very instant, very cheap. You see, tiny things create magic when we connect with customers. Another tiny thing, which is perhaps more difficult to do, is to guide someone inside the store. So they say, "Well, I'm looking for this online dress, and I found it online." Yes, come into the store. 1 meter to the left, there it is. Cool. The technology exists to do this already. And of course, people want to try it on, and then they want it delivered at home fairly instantly. Easy to do. instant delivery is easy if you have a centralized taxi service or something like Uber. You have an instant distribution system. These things can happen. Back to trust. You know, it's the little things, as I say, over and over again. Martin talked about tiny data. I call it little data. It's the same. Here is an example, again, from Tesco. If you check into Tesco, as you check out, it says, "Thank you for shopping at Tesco. You have just saved €2.23. These are the comparative prices from 3 competitors." Or it says, "Oh, I am so sorry." He says, "If you had shopped at a competitor today, you would have saved €1.30. Here is €2 to apologize to you." Cool. Tiny data coming at the moment of sale. You don't know who the customer is, but it means a lot. Lots of people talk about that. It spreads the information. And I'm more or less out now, but you know, British Airways is an airline I use because I'm British, so I have to use them a lot. And they sent me, I always open their emails to me. I hate being marketed at. The reason why I open them is they're always full of information and revelation, and sometimes funny. Okay, so I got an email the other day. It said, "Dr. Dixon," it said, no, it said Patrick. "Dear Patrick, where do you disappear to?" That was the headline. "Where do you disappear to?" I said, "What?" I said, "Dear Patrick, we don't know what to do. We keep flying you all over the world to places like Vilnius and Warsaw and Paris and Madrid, but you never come home." What? What they were picking up is because, you know, I fly from Vilnius to another event and then another event, and it's probably a different airline, right? So they take me out because that's the easy, because I'll start my journey with British Airways and then I will work it out as I go. Do I come back with British Airways? Probably not. Air France. KLM. It was very clever. It said, "To encourage you to see your family more often, we will give you a free return ticket with your wife wherever you like." I just thought that was nice. It didn't cost them very much. They had spare capacity on some flights, but it made me talk about it. I've just given them some free publicity by mistake. And to you, 300,000 of you watching online as well, you know, this is the amazing thing, hybrid. It's how we're going to do the future. It's online, offline, it's hard to do well. But you know what? It's very, very important, these kind of things. So, what I've been talking about is basically, it's how we make life better, selling things that we really believe in, information and revelation, discovering the tiny things that make the big difference, like the waiter's eyes or the packaging on the shampoo, creating magic wherever we can, with revelations and personal offers that really make a difference to people's lives. Thank you. Thank you.
Can you stay here? Can you stay here for a moment?
Yeah, fine.
Okay, Doctor, in times when each and every one of us have all the knowledge of the planet in our pocket, with one click, we're speaking about people that lost belief, that they don't trust anyone, they stop trusting each and everyone. So, in a very practical way, we have a lot of salespeople here in the hall. How can they actually approach this issue? How can prepare, and what they shouldn't do tomorrow?
I said number one is it's all about relationship. And if you haven't met your customers recently, go and meet them. Because actually you can build more trust over 1 cup of coffee in 20 minutes than you've built in 20 years. Really, it's just important. And by the way, don't bother to talk about the product. You can do that over the phone. It's how's the children, family, what's your golf score at the moment. It doesn't matter what you talk about. It's just doing life together. That's the most important thing. And if you haven't got the opportunity to do that, I'd say do the Zoom call, but try and make sure that you spend most of the time talking about them and their life and what it is that, how they're getting on and what it's felt like for them. And actually that becomes the whole focus of the call, that we're interested in them as a person. What we want in sales is to become an advisor on their journey of life. So that
Do
when
we?
they have an issue, they say, they say, hey, Terry, Patrick, this is not your area, I know, but I just wanted to talk to you. Have you got any friends or any ideas about how I could? And that's what I want to be. I want to be an advisor to as many of my clients as I can on their journey of life. And I get random phone calls. And I make myself that's the other thing, is make yourself very available. I have a website. It's globalchange.com, globalchange.com. On the website is my mobile phone. People thought I was stupid. I have had 15 million different IP addresses on my website, and my mobile phone is there. And they say, do you ever sleep? I say, yes, I do. My LinkedIn is there, my Twitter, my personal email address. It's true, people sometimes get a shock. It happened the other day. Someone phoned me and said, hello, I'd like to discuss an event that I think we could, Dr. Dixon could do. And I said, mm-hmm. I said, and maybe Dr. Dixon could do this. I said, mm-hmm. I said, actually, you're talking to him. They didn't expect it. But it costs nothing. See, little things create magic. It costs nothing to put your own personal mobile number. Nothing else matters. There's nothing else I want, just your mobile number, against your photograph. Put up your hands if you've got your mobile phone number and your photo in your website, on your company website at the moment. Your mobile phone number's there. Put up your hands if you haven't. No, I won't embarrass you. Okay, the tiny things cost nothing, but they will get you that personal relationship. Even the fact you've given the phone number makes people think, I really trust them. They're kind of like a friend. And the final thing I'd say is WhatsApp really works for sales.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. If you're, I ask people in a sales meeting, I say, okay, so and put up your hands if you're WhatsApping your client. Your primary method of communication is WhatsApp. And they look, well, I hope you're not trying to do a deal in UAE or Saudi or India or Japan, because you cannot do it except on WhatsApp. You know why? Because, you see, all the rest is about business. But when you're on a WhatsApp, it's family. Put up your hands if your primary method of communication with family at the moment, in this event, if a child of yours was sick, they'd send you a WhatsApp message. Put up your hands if that's true.
Well, you see, Patrick, in Lithuania we have nearly free data, so everyone is using the just conventional ways of talking.
Yes, and it might not be WhatsApp for Vilnius. It doesn't matter. But the key is find the channel that your clients use for their family and make sure that you're family. That's the key.
So, in a nutshell, it's the most important rule is KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Right?
And personal, yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Patrick Dixon.